I just love Ben's response to her after the woman clearly thought she caught him in an example of white privilege. You got to check it out.
Now, it's interesting, Mr. Shapiro, you talked about white privilege. And just this week, I had a conversation with Rachel Lazar, who's done some work, a Jewish American woman who's done some work on this area, as well as having extensive conversations with Dr. Greg Parks of Wake Forest University, who's also talked quite a bit about critical race theory. And it's my understanding that white privilege is not telling individuals that they cannot speak, but it is a term for societal privilege that individuals have as a benefit of their white skin. And I don't think that, and I think universities would be remiss to then say that because you're white, you're not allowed to say anything that's critical of white people. I didn't know that white privilege actually went into that sphere. My understanding is it's just, and the issue is that white privilege makes people uncomfortable to talk about the societal privilege that they have.
Well, to me, what I say on campuses all the time is if you want to cite instances of racism that we can all find and fight together, that's something that I'm more than willing to stand next to you and fight, because that's obviously stuff that we should fight together. But when you just say that there is a white privilege out there in the ether and that by dint of birth your skin color generates for you an advantage, what you're really saying to people is that your view is less valuable because you have not experienced what I've experienced. And that is an identity argument, that's a character argument, that's not a rational political argument that can actually be taken on in any way. It's more of a cudgel and a club than it is an attempt to open a discussion.
Well, I think it's a demonstrable evidence that through society's demographics that being white has societal privileges that being black does not. But
we can talk about how that manifests, because that's
I'm also interested in what you just said now, is that you would stand next to anyone who has this. So, Mr. Shapiro, my question to you is, for Ms. Dunston, the tying the noose around the campus and writing messages that target African-American young students, would you consider that hate speech, and then would you stand next to her and fight for her?
As I say, I would. This is the first I'm hearing about it, honestly. But
really,
but from hearing about it, maybe because it's local. I mean, I'm from LA. But in any case, I'm more than happy to stand alongside her and fight whatever group was responsible for this. Not only more than happy. I mean, you're talking about the alt-right. Again, I was the #1 target of anti-Semitic harassment from the alt-right last year.
I can't believe the Dems are just, it's so frustrating. White privilege, white privilege. They're so trying to make it out to be like it was decades and decades ago as it reflects white privilege. I get so frustrating hearing this. I mean, white privilege that they're trying to say is that white people's voice matters more than minorities' voices. Maybe decades and decades and decades and decades, and can I go on? Decades ago, it was all like that, but it's not like that now. But they want us to believe that it's like that now, and it's not. It's not. If anything, with everything going on today, with white, trying to push white privilege, when she mentioned something like, she goes, if anything, white people have a problem or feel uncomfortable talking about white privilege. Yeah, because they're making white people feel uncomfortable, because they're making it sound like whatever life they're living was only because they're white. And it doesn't even recognize that, or not even recognize, it doesn't even have the common sense tone to it that whether you're white, black, brown, Asian, whatever it is, you come from your own story. You come from your own life. And not everyone's life in the same race comes from the same journey. I mean, how common sense is that? But they want us to believe that if you are white, you have white privilege, and you have privileges that are so much more than anyone else. Maybe decades and centuries ago, but no, you can keep on pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, but we're getting tired of hearing about it. And I'm Puerto Rican. You would look at me and say, oh, you're white, but see, you don't even know me, right? You don't take the time to know me. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm considered brown. And I'm still getting tired of hearing about it.